common sense. My God, how many times have I said nothing overrules common sense? And people are coming back with the most bizarre things, right? God, I'm starting to get my teeth into this one. One thing, my grandmother, right? I can remember this, right? Because it still sticks today. All the time she used to say to me, don't ever trust anyone. Don't trust anyone. Don't trust anyone. She used to say this to me all the time, right? All the time. And there's one thing my grandmother did for me. It was to keep telling me to not trust anyone, right? That is the kind of thing that I had behind me growing up, right? Do not trust anyone, and it sticks. And you know what? Over the years, you know what I've learned? She was right, okay? Common sense. Common sense. The thing I've been seeing, I can't get over this, right? I say nothing overrules common sense, and people are coming back with science overrules common sense. I don't know where this has come from, but this is not only anti-common sense, it's illogical. And that is a slam dunk. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It's illogical. How can science overrule common sense? This is not common sense, right? So somebody said it to me once, but a while back, a month ago, 2, 3, I don't know. And I thought, this guy's having a joke, right? And then somebody else has said it. And somebody else has said it. If this is what they are teaching, I tell you what, people, it's wrong, okay? Something happened not too long ago. I am being totally objective. I am not implying anything. This is not directed at any particular thing that has happened. But a couple of years ago, we know what happened, and everybody was told to have one, right? Now, my common sense, right? I've been around the block a while, and I understand, right? It's common, well, I thought it was common knowledge. These things go through trial phases, right? Lots of them, a minimum of 5 to 6 years. The end. So when this thing came about, I was like, no way. Common sense, this thing come out immediately, right? So where are the trials? I'm being objective. It's not about anything other than being objective. It is about common sense. This is insanity, all right? I tell you, the only person who would be safe to say this, right? This is the only person who would be safe to say this. Crash test dummy, because that's what they are, all right? Nothing overrules common sense, all right? It's this. Let's go right to the very top, shall we? Let's go right to the very top. Science overruling common sense. My God. Right. Which would we rather do? Okay? Taking a mental, picking up the energy. Okay. nearly everybody would rather live, all right? So, in order to live, one must adopt certain rules, right, in your head, certain, these fail-safes, right? And they need to be used, and I tell my kids them all the time. And one of them has to be don't trust anyone, right? Don't trust anyone. I'm not talking about relationship. Everybody gets a broken heart, all right? I'm not talking about these things. I'm talking about the serious shit. This year, was it last year? I don't know. This thing about billions of dollars in scams. Billions of Australians have been scammed. But billions of dollars, right? How does that happen? How do so many people keep falling, right, for all these such obvious scams? This, I don't know, it's your responsibility whether you, right, up to a certain point, right? But if something comes along that could cause and stop, it's your decision or my decision, right? For me and mine. I'm not going to have anybody tell me anything about what to do in a situation like what we've seen if it's anti-common sense. And for me personally, it was, and it still is, and it always will be. If I'm going to be taking anything like that, let me see that we're safe, okay? There's also a thing, right, that goes along with that. See, this is old school stuff, right? It needs like the sticks and stones to break my bones, and words can never hurt me. Bring that back, people. Just bring it back. Ignore them. They go away, right? Oh, far out. Seriously, there's a risk, a benefit line. This is common sense stuff, right? Risk benefit. The risk benefit. What can I gain? What can I lose? What will I gain at the best? And what can I lose at the worst? What can I maybe just lose, and what can I might come ahead slightly? It's a risk benefit line, all right? What are the risks? If something pops up, right, and it's a little bit dodgy, I'm not sure, might be money involved, might be health involved, could be the future of my children's involved, could be my future involved, anything, the future of my puppies, right? So somebody says to me, we're having a disaster, right? We need to do this. And I'm like, okay, I don't have much information about whatever it is, and we need to make a decision fast. Where do you go? To the risk benefit line, all right? So we need to do this thing, okay, straight away. What will happen if I don't do it, right? What is the worst thing that could happen to me if I don't do this thing? And if somebody says this to me, oh, okay, that's not good. The next thing, you can forget about any benefit, right? This is the risk. So, what are the chances now? This is the worst thing that could happen to me. What are the chances out of 100? If there was 100 people, what are the chances that I'm going to be one of those hundreds? If somebody said 100%, okay, if we're definitely going to die, right, the risk-benefit line, she's gone. It doesn't matter what I do. If I don't die, I benefit, right? But if the chances of me dying are 50%, right, I say, well, hang on. All right, risk-benefit. Risk-benefit. There's 50-50 chance I'm going to die. What is it that you want me to do? I know there's a 50 chance I'm going to disappear anyway. What do I need to do? Right. you need to do this. Whoa, really? Okay, what's the worst thing that could happen to me if I do this? Oh, hang on a minute. So now, if I don't do anything, I die. If I take this, oh no, sorry, boom. Sorry, we're at 50%. So what happens? There's a 50% chance I could die. What do I need to do? What is there? What are you giving me, right? That's going to change these odds. This. Risk benefit. What is the worst thing that could happen to me? If I take this, you die. So what are the chances that this thing is going to really, really make a difference, right? And save me? There is a 50% chance. Right, now where are we? There's a 50% chance that I'm going to die, right? Because of something that's happening that none of us can help, right? 50% chance. There's something that somebody can give me, right? And the chances of it stopping the 50% are 50%. So what do you do? What do you do? You then have to work out what implications there will be if you decide to take the other route that you've been offered. Like, what will happen? How long will it last for? When will it happen? Will it affect anyone else? This is all common sense. To say science overrules common sense is the most anti-common sense thing I have heard in my life. And I am being objective. And kids need to be told not to trust anyone, right? And that means anyone. Being objective, the amount of corruption. Are we blind? Are we blind, right? What is the reward for getting the top job? Why do these people go for the top job? Money, right? It's money that makes the world go round. Everything is a business. Everything is a business, all right? Science doesn't overrule anything. The only thing that overrules, well, loads overrules science, right? Science isn't, everybody's like, trust the science, trust the science. Trust the science. The science, right? The science is, let's say, somebody's making science. So you're going to need 100 of these, 15 of these, 25 of these, 7 litres of that, and you're going to mix it all up, and then out comes this beautiful cocktail, all right? Now, human error, all right? You cannot trust anything or anyone, right? I'm going to add to that, but I'm not going to bother, all right? It's all about trusting your own judgment. Listen, if you don't trust your own judgment, then you're going to have to trust somebody else's judgment. I trust my own judgment, and to date, it hasn't failed me once, right? Which is probably why I'm still alive. Nothing in this world can overrule common sense. What is common sense? That's another one that keeps with things like, what was it? Washing your hands after going to the toilet. Washing your hands. Right? Somebody said, if you don't do it, you're lacking common sense. It's common sense to do it. No, it isn't. This is personal hygiene. It's nothing to do with common sense. Common sense is something that we all have naturally, and the typical one is hot. Hot. Yeah. It's not a bad hand, is it? Oh, it's like a mouse, isn't it? It's an arm. With a stove, right? You've got a gas bottle. Ah, hot. We learn that when we're 1, 2, 3. Everybody gets burnt as a kid, right? So for the rest of your life, this becomes common sense, all right? It's common sense. It's self-preservation. It's live or die. That was the other one. That was the other one, all right? It's good I'm doing colours, isn't it? Was it the Earth and Moon, right? It was common sense. Everybody thought the Earth and the Moon were the same size. It was a common sense thing. Oh, there's a sec. It was a common sense thing. This has got nothing to do with common sense either, because this it's something that's taught. It's not common sense. Not one single person who lives in a tribe in some outback Australia, Africa, India will know when they look up at the sun, the earth, the moon, the sizes of anything. It's not common sense. That's something that you get taught, and you can be lied to about this as well. The other one, you can't trust anybody. Knowing that you can't trust anybody, how can you trust science? It's okay up to a certain point. It's when the stakes go up and what's at stake, that's when you've really, really got to assess these, what overrides what. Now what was the other one? It was Earth, Moon, what was it? Oh, I didn't prep anything here. I've been out and I just had to get my teeth sunk into this one. I can't remember what it was now. Listen, common sense. It's the final safety net. As a person, right? Final safety net. It is. The people go, no, science is it's not the final safety net. Alright? What if the wrong person gets hold of the science, right? What if everyone around you, you've all done something that the science said, hey, we can trust, and everybody's falling down. Now what? Who do you blame? The science or yourself for not researching? This is black and white stuff, right? You cannot trust anyone in this day and age. I grew up with that as my background thought, and people are saying, oh, you got to trust someone, you got to trust someone one day. All right, maybe one day, but right now, in this day and age, but science is, science, what they say, science never misses. Science is a constant. Like, it always sorts itself out. I say science may have been objective, but now it's not. Alright? It's just not. And to think it is, I mean, objective science is neutral, right? There's no bias in it whatsoever. There's no, I love this job. I really don't want to lose it. Do you tweak? Alright? It's human nature to tweak. So knowing that, why would I think that human nature is any different up at the top? It's not, right? It's not. Money, everything on this planet is about money, unfortunately. Everything, right? The dollars. That means everything that's around us, it doesn't matter what it is, when there's a transaction, it's business. Right? Now, what are businesses for? Making money. So straight away, you've got a conflict of interest, haven't you? You've got somebody trying to do the right thing, but money's involved. Corruption, deceit, lies. Science does not overrule common sense. If everybody adopts that attitude and the wrong person gets hold of the science, there's trouble. There was a reason for the 2-3 stages of trials and errors and this and that and the other. And even animals are involved. Even that, I mean, is an animal life worth a human life? Is a human life worth more than an animal life? Why is it? Why? You know, humans are biased, aren't they? Right? But anybody looking from the outside in, you go, no, a life is a life. You know? So it's one of those things, isn't it? Anyway, this is an objective, quick objective look at everything. Everything is a business. If loads of money's changing hands, hello, but it's all about money, isn't it? So, I mean, where am I? I mean, I just don't know where this, I just don't know what's happened or when, or maybe I wasn't paying attention before. I don't know. I just, God, some things you don't do. Common sense. It's got to be, I don't know, the ability to recognize danger or distinguish what's real and what's fake and what's not, right? If you cannot distinguish between what's real and what isn't, how will you ever know if what you're seeing is real or it's not? You cannot trust anyone. So if you can't trust anyone and somebody asks you to do something you're not too sure about, who is it up to? It's up to us as individuals to research for us, right? All this can't, just because matey over the fence and two guys down at the pub are doing something doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. I don't care. I always research everything. You have to in this day and age, because there's so much crap going around that if you don't and something goes wrong, it's nobody else's fault but yours for not taking the time to research. You can't just, oh yeah, no, they're doing it, let's see what they're doing. That doesn't work. That does not work. Well, it does work, but it might not be the right thing for you, if that's what you want to do, right? Go research. I mean, buy first, test drive after. I don't like it now. I kind of bought it, mate. Yeah, but I'm just taking it out for a test drive. Common sense, mate, isn't it? You test drive it before. It's common sense, right? And kids need to be taught these things as well. You've got to teach the kids to not trust anybody. You can't. Even closest friends turn on you. You can trust people, but up to a certain point. Depending what's at stake, the more barriers you put up. If there's not a lot at stake, then it kind of doesn't even really matter, does it? But the more that's at stake, the more you've got to keep your guard up, because there's evil out there, right? And people do not know how bad it is, right? And if kids aren't taught to watch their backs all of the time, do not trust anyone, bad things happen. And it's going to be to them, not to anybody else. Anyway, God, I'm going about this common sense thing forever. I'm always saying, it's common sense, I get that. And I'm starting to realise that maybe it's because common sense is something that you pick up along the way. And I have probably been in, obviously, a lot more situations than a lot of people, because I'm always saying it's common sense. And when I say it, for me it is. I'm not all these people saying, nah, it's not, yeah. For me it is. It just is. And it's never let me down yet. Never let me down yet. My common sense has never let me down yet. Never. It becomes second nature. It's almost like intuition. It's just running tick, tick, tick beside you all the time. Right? You can't go around life with your head in the clouds, trusting other people and relying on them all your decisions. Well, you can. If there's something happens and you end up in a bad situation, don't blame anybody else but you. The other person's not, well, I say he's not going to care. He might care, but that's not going to change the fact where you are now. It's your responsibility, right? So, like my nan said, and she was right. Now for the science isn't anything more than people numbers. People are tweaking numbers most of the time. And where do we live? What is everything? Everything's a business. Tweaking numbers. Business. If we do this, we get this. People don't always do the right things. If we don't know this by now, when will we ever learn, right? Anyway, don't trust everyone. Science, people tweaking numbers. Common sense. It's the final frontier. If you give your own common sense up for science, well, can I have your bank cards? It's a thing, isn't it? No. The other one's worse. New car, crash test dummies. Discoveries in space. That's science. Science has discovered it. Is it really? If you cannot question it, if I can't question something, then I'm afraid I've got my reservations. My nan told me that, all right? Science should be open, not another one. Science shouldn't be behind closed doors shouldn't work like that. It just shouldn't. I might be a bit critical, but maybe a few more people need to adopt this attitude, right? If I can't question something, something is illogical, and I know lots of things are illogical, but you can't question them, so it's not allowed, is it? Stop the question, trust science. This one. Now, the amount of people that love this, they live their life by it. So, trust you rather than it's peer review. This means everyone agreed on the same thing. This bomb will flatten that place. Have we done the numbers yet? This bomb is a killer. It's peer reviewed. It does not mean it's good, right? It means a lot of people have agreed on the same thing. It does not mean it is good, okay? Am I done? All right, I'll finish up later.